This segment sponsored by the Indiana Soybean and Corn Farmers. Welcome back to Growing for the Future. I am here on the Warpup farm, and look, I am very high up next to this grain silo. And today I'm so excited to speak to Brian and to learn more about the harvesting process and how he takes the crops from the field to the truck. Come join me. I am back chatting with Brian Warpup, who is a director at the Indiana Soybean Alliance. Hi, Brian.
All right, welcome back.
Thank you. Such a beautiful day. The sun is out, and look at your crops.
It has grown quite extensively this summer.
Wow. Like you said to me, it's going to be over your head.
Yeah.
And now look, it is over my head. This is so cool. So this is all corn here.
This is all corn.
Yes, and so tell me, what stage are we in?
Well, we are almost in the mature stage right now, so it's almost done. A few more weeks here and it'll be completely mature. It's taken all summer here. I told you it was going to get 8 to 10 feet tall, and this is where it's at right now.
Yes. Okay, so what's next? What's the next process? Once it gets to this, what do you do?
We wait on it. We wait for Mother Nature kind of to what we'll call dry it down so it'll mature. And then probably next month, in the next few weeks, we'll start harvesting it. So it's an exciting time for me when we start harvesting it with the combine, but that'll be our next stop.
Okay, awesome. Well, let's take a look at it. Oh my goodness, up close and personal.
Sure. Yep, so here's the ear of corn, and I'll husk it back for you. So that's what it looks like today. And it's almost mature, but it's still got a few more weeks before that.
Can you take it off the thing? Okay,
pop it off.
Let's see.
There you go.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. It looks done. I mean, it's so incredible that it still needs to mature more.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have to teach me how to husk it back, okay?
Okay, so I always take it off, but I always break it off like this.
Okay.
And then just peel it back like that.
Let's see.
Yep.
You hold this. Okay, so you have to do it with strength.
Yep.
Peel it back like that. Wonderful. Yeah.
And when I'm in my combine will do all of this very quickly.
Okay, so this is not a manual process.
This is not a manual process. No, not at all.
Okay, so cool. Next, I want to go over and look at what happens after you actually take it off and how you use these materials.
Sure.
All right, let's do it. So Brian, a lot of times when people think of a farm, they think of livestock, cows and chickens and pigs. Do you have any livestock here?
I do not have any livestock. We haven't had livestock on this farm for around 40 years.
Really?
Yeah, so when you think of a farm, you kind of think of that old McDonald farm,
right?
Which my grandparents had. They had cows, they had pigs, they had chickens. Presently, we're a little more consolidated on what we do. So we're a grain farm. I can go down the road and there's a man there who has hogs. I can go a couple miles down the road and there's a dairy.
Okay.
So we supply the feed, the corn and the soybeans for those farming operations. So we all kind of get our expertise in ag now instead of doing the whole thing like we used to 2 generations ago.
Yeah, I love that, more of a niche. And so what makes a farmer decide if they should have livestock or just grain? A
lot of it is family or economics.
Okay.
If the economics aren't there, some people will get into it or get out of livestock. My family chose to get out of it in the 1970s, and we've never got back in. So we kind of concentrated more on the grain end of it, and that's where we've spent all of our energy the last decade, 2 decades doing that.
Wow, okay, and so we have some of the grains here.
Yes.
So talk to me about what we're looking at.
Okay, so this is last year's crop. This is the corn that I raised last year, and these are some of the soybeans that I raised last year.
Wow, look at that. So this is the final.
Yep.
The final look at it after it's all out of the harvest, and these are soybeans. Wow, so talk to me about how these are specifically used in the different items that we may not be aware of.
Sure.
We actually eat these.
I mean, unless you are a tofu eater, you're probably not going to consume soybeans like a soybean. But soybeans, when they're processed, they're about 36 or 37% oil. So the processor wants to extract that oil, and it can be used for biodiesel, it can be used for food additives, it can be used in many different foods. But what's left over after the oil is called bean meal, and that is a very high protein source. So that goes into a lot of chicken feed, a lot of hog feed. So if you know, for chickens, eggs, egg production, any kind of swine, that's what the soybean goes for. Corn will be ground as feed too, and it's a very good base product for a lot of animal feed. And so there's a lot of cattle, chickens, hogs, you name it, that's livestock that will consume that.
Yes, and you have so much land here, and I'm sure that you probably produce more crop than what the animals can kind of take. So what happens to the excess?
So during the fall, which is coming up here real short, when we harvest it, there's a large glut of product coming to the market. So we store it in bins or silos, and we hold that all year long, so that the producers or the end users can have that all year long, and so we deliver that 12 months a year to them.
Wow. So tell me about that process of getting it out of your location and exporting it to all these places that need it.
Sure. So we put it in the bin. Once it's in the bin, it sits there for several months until the market calls for it, and then we will extract it from the bin, whether that be from a conveyor or an auger, and we put it on a semi. And that semi goes to the delivery point, whether that be for biodiesel or ethanol or feed for chicken. Then that's where that goes to the end market.
Okay, and we're going to be able to see a little bit of that process?
Sure, yes.
Okay, but I know I have to go high.
We're going to go on top of the bin.
On top of the bin. Okay, so let's do it.
All right.
Stay tuned. So Brian, share with us the process of getting the grains out of this bin into the truck.
Sure. Well, this corn has been in this bin for about 10 or 11 months. It's last year's crop, and we've been storing it to go to market right now. So what we do is there's an auger that's under the floor of this bin. I press a button into another auger, the yellow auger here, and the tractor turns it, and it gets loaded to loads the semi. And when the semi's full, I'll end up taking it to market.
Definitely a workout. We made it to the top, Brian.
We're here.
Wow, how many steps was that?
87.
87 steps, and look at this stunning view. Like, wow, I just want to take it in for a moment. You get to see this every day.
Every day, corn and soybeans everywhere.
Wow, so incredible. And we're up here at the soy.
It's a grain bin.
Grain bin. We're up here at the grain bin, or you say a silo?
Or a silo, yep.
Okay, and so what happens here?
So this is where it all gets dumped in after harvest. It dumps in the top, and it fills all the way up, and it holds about 123,000 bushels. So that's about 120 semi-loads.
Wow, and how high up are we?
We're only 60 feet off the ground.
60 feet, okay. Not too bad, not too bad. So Brian, before we go, I want to ask, what inspired you to be a farmer, and what do you enjoy about it?
Well, I enjoyed it as a kid. Coming back to the farm though as an adult, I just enjoyed the business. I enjoyed taking that little seed every year and nurturing it and growing it, and to what we've already witnessed here today. So that's what drives me is growing a good crop.
Yes, so inspirational, and just learning about each of these steps is so great. And I can't wait to learn more and to learn about the soybean side of it even further. We're going to visit that the next trip and see the final harvest. Stay tuned for more Growing for the Future here on Living Local 15. We'll be right back. This segment sponsored by the Indiana Soybean and Corn Farmers.